Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Weather with Jonathan here, and I'm back with another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the potential for a major tornado outbreak in the south and the potential for a major winter storm in the upper Midwest. I'm going to be going over all this in your forecast. So starting off with what's happening around the U.S., you can see we have that system working its way across the central U.S. That's going to be causing some very large hail and some severe weather across portions of central Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and southwestern Missouri, and yes, of course, northwestern Arkansas. So then we also do have quite the heavy rain starting off across Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. That's just going to continue to train over the same couple of areas for the next at least 2 days. This is going. You guys are under a moderate risk of rainfall and flash flooding, so you guys got to be aware of some flash flooding in your area if you live there. And you guys could see upwards of 3 to 6 inches of rain, even more than that in some local areas. So now let's take a look at our NWS hazards. You can see what's happening around the U.S. right now. You can see we have actually that pretty big severe thunderstorm watch for portions of Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, and Arkansas. That's because we have some very large hail just hammering the cities there. And then we have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. And then we do have some winter weather advisories, some winter storm warnings, and yes, winter storm watches in the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. And yes, the Rockies. And we have some high wind warnings near Buffalo and some winter storm warnings in the UP of Michigan and northern Michigan. And yes, a couple winter weather advisories in northern Maine. So now let's take a look. Well, not a look, but a deep dive into our severe weather. So let's take a look at our dew points, and this is what's making it so moist and wet over here for the rainfall. So that's what's going to cause all that rainfall, the dew points or the moisture in the air. Now, where we really need to be paying attention for those dew points to really rise is down here, right in our most significant risk for severe weather. And watch what happens with this. Those dew points are going to just absolutely skyrocket to about 70 to upper 60s, maybe even lower 70s, somewhere down there. And we've got a big tornado potential with this. And because the dew points just keep getting richer and richer, we're likely going to have quite the discrete storms. And these are going to produce potentially long-track, violent tornadoes. So if you guys live not even outside of a moderate risk, but outside of the enhanced risk, you still got to be aware. So let's take a look at our Cape and can see. Now listen, this is not actually the exact estimate. It's a lot higher across this area, which is our moderate risk. And you guys, in an event like this, I have to go live, so I pinky promise I will go live tomorrow, and I may even go live tonight to cover the severe weather in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri. So I hope you guys can stay tuned in for that. It's okay if you can't or you don't come. It's fine. Okay. Now, I will have a lot more information tomorrow as we head out into this event or the future, this is tomorrow. But I really am concerned about the potential for a tornado outbreak down here. And I'll just real quick switch to our European model so you guys can see what they're predicting right now. So let's see what our European model is predicting. So they're predicting quite the wind shear, some pretty intense wind shear, and it's showing the exact same thing on all the models. So we really could be in for a tornado outbreak. And in the wind shear, if you guys didn't know, is what's causing the atmosphere or the storms to rotate. And however more there is, the higher amounts there are, the more thunderstorms are going to rotate. And eventually they could produce long track violent tornadoes. And that's what I'm very concerned about for tomorrow. So now let's track this out. Now this is the NAM 3-kilometer model on tropical tidbits. So where I want you guys to pay attention in this circle is right, I'd say about right in about here. So this is where we really need to pay attention for some long track violent tornadoes. So we have this round at about 5 p.m. That's when we're really going to see. That's when we're going to see some strong long track violent tornadoes possible. And then a second round comes in, but it tries to form. But just try to form into a line up and down over here. And that's why we have that enhanced risk extending all the way up into Kentucky. Now, I'm just going to say, you guys are probably like, oh, this looks pretty scary for southern Indiana. Well, because you guys probably think that's storms. Well, no, this is just some heavy rain. So you guys in southern Indiana can probably go to sleep. Yes, you will maybe hear some rumbles of thunder, but you guys are mostly out of that severe weather. So now let's use our significant tornado parameter. And this is the probability of a tornado happening based on 1 to 10. Now listen, I am very surprised this is not higher across much of this zone. I think it should be higher, but yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty high. And what's really given the ingredients to this is this. This is our helicity, and this is what's giving those supercells all that stuff for the tornadoes. So now let's head back out and track in this. So that's our morning round, which is looking pretty concerning. Well, not our morning round, but one of our main rounds. And then this other round does come in and also could produce some long track violent tornadoes. Is definitely possible. Now, we have a pretty big damaging wind threat, and we also have a snowstorm potential. So it's gonna form into quite the line of storms here. Now I don't know why this model is not showing anything, but we actually do have some pretty damaging winds possible across much of this area, and the potential for some tornadoes is definitely possible. Now watch that cold air really interact with that rain up there in Illinois, southeastern Iowa, and southern Wisconsin. You can see it's going to start trying to form into some freezing rain and some pretty heavy snowfall. And if I just put this to the continental United States, you can see that snow getting really heavy in Michigan, and also you guys up there in the Northeast could see quite a bit of snow. Now, I just want to go over our snowfall totals. This is what they could look like. Now, this is what they could look like by Saturday, the 25th of March, and then this is what it could look like once we're done with the event. You guys could actually have a foot of snow in southeastern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. This is going to be a pretty significant event, and same for you guys in northern Michigan. 12 to 14 inches is possible. Now let's also look at our sleet and freezing rain, because we do have that potential. So that's our look at our sleet total. Now this is a look at our freezing rain total. That is pretty high freezing rain. And also, you guys, I'm just going to say right now, you guys should probably not pay attention to this. Don't pay attention to this, because this is probably not very accurate, but it's showing about 3 inches of ice down here in California. That's very unlikely from what I've been seeing, but yeah. So now let's go over our Storm Prediction Center outlooks. You can see we have a slight risk of severe weather today across portions of southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas, eastern and southern Oklahoma, and central Texas. Now we actually have 2 consecutive 5% risks of tornado, one over Wichita Falls and one over Fort Smith and Fayetteville, Arkansas. Now, hail is still the main threat, because we still have that significant severe 15% risk across central Oklahoma, mainly southern Oklahoma though, and central Texas. And then we also have a small 15% wind risk across northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, and extreme southwestern Missouri. Now, here's where we really need to pay attention for this, for our severe weather. Now, yes, I know you guys are probably going to ask me in the comments, do you think we could get a high risk of severe weather? I would not be surprised if we stay at a moderate risk. I think we're definitely going to stay at a moderate risk. And I also wouldn't be surprised if they issued a high risk and they issued a high risk. I would center my high risk over the exact same portion there that the moderate risk currently is. Now, listen, the whole point of this SBC outlook is to go over the probabilities. It's not to say, will this get upgraded to a high risk? I would not be surprised if it did. There's a possibility for sure that it could potentially get upgraded to a high risk. No, it's not seeming likely, but it is a possibility. So, yes. So, now our main threat is driven by tornadoes, and this is why I mentioned potentially strong and violent long track tornadoes are possible in this red region. Now, that does not mean that all of you guys out here in the yellow region are not going to see the potential for tornadoes. You guys will see the potential for tornadoes. And also, I'm sorry, my drawing tool just lagged out right there. But yeah, so we could have some strong, long track, violent tornadoes possible tomorrow. And I pinky promise you guys, I will 1,000,000% go live for this event. So we also have a 15% hail risk now, located across much of the same moderate and enhanced risk areas. And then we have a 30% wind risk across everywhere that is in an enhanced risk currently. And we have a significant severe for wind, with the 30% chance across western Kentucky, southeastern Missouri, eastern Arkansas, northwestern Mississippi, and western Tennessee. So that's where we could actually see a line of storms develop with some embedded supercells across this area right here. So yeah, so that's that moderate risk outlook. So thank you guys for coming and watching this video. If you haven't already checked out my Instagram account, what are you doing? You should probably go check it out. And also, thank you for coming and watching my video. I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you in my next